This is crazy. Calgary Flames star forward Nazem Kadri has spoken out about the constant trade rumors that are swirling around him and the team. A true pro's pro, he knew what to say, but despite what the players think, should general manager Craig Conroy still be pushed to make a deal? We're going to get into all that more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, and let's talk about Kadri talking. Yes, we talk the talk, walk the walk, and we're talking about talking at this point. And we all know, you look at the Calgary Flames right now, just look them up on the internet, and what pops up? Trade rumors, whether it's mostly Kadri right now, still Rasmus Andersson. You get a few other names in there, some of the vets, a Coleman every once in a while, a Weegar every once in a while, a Hanley every once in a while, and a few others. But obviously, Kadri, the main team right now. And it's funny, a lot of people are saying, this is so reminiscent to 2 seasons ago when the Flames dominated trade talks, and then obviously they ended up trading away guys like Zadorov, Lindholm, Tanev, Hanifin, and so on. So they're kind of thinking maybe this year it could be a little repeat of that year. But either way, Kadri is the main man for this one, and we have a little article here of Kadri brushes off trade rumors because he is focused on winning, which has not been happening a lot, obviously, in Calgary to start this season, but still. This is originally an article by Eric Francis, and at first I'm going to go over kind of just the Spark Notes version from the Score app, and then throw in a couple other quotes from the original column by Eric Francis of Sportsnet. But if we get into Sean O'Leary's version here, he writes, the Calgary Flames' poor start to the season has pushed Nazem Kadri's name into trade rumors, but the veteran center is focused on righting the ship with his current squad rather than forcing his way out of town. He said, I've had to approach a lot more difficult situations than something like this, Kadri told Sportsnet's Eric Francis. So for me, it's really nothing that draws my attention. Obviously, there's going to be some questions about it. I'm okay to answer them, but at the end of the day, I'm focused on winning hockey games. If that isn't, the most media-trained answer you've ever heard in your life, but it is so true that actually is Kadri's mindset, as well as, the rest of the Calgary Flames right now. Yes, they know they're off to a rough start, but hey, they just had a really big win against the Rangers. They played amazing. They want to kind of, get back in the right direction, be the team that they were last year, and more, and make the playoffs. Now, that looks pretty bleak right now, but still, Kadri obviously saying the right things. Now, the Flames snapped an 8-game losing streak Sunday and are last in not only the Western Conference, but the league at 2-7-1. Kadri would be among Calgary's most attractive trade chips if the Flames decide to sell assets. He leads the team in scoring with 7 points on the young season. And it's good that he's, finally starting to get some goals again, much needed, of course. Whoa, I skipped way ahead there. The 35-year-old has 3 years remaining on his contract at a $7 million cap hit. His trade protection dropped from a full no-movement clause to a 13-team no-trade list this season, adding fuel to recent speculation. Yesterday, I kind of touched on that no-trade list, so I'm just going to interrupt it for 1 second. Here's the proof. It does come from Rick Dhaliwal. He says, for those asking, he's been told that the Canucks are not on Kadri's no-trade list, so could be available to go to the Canucks. I know Vancouver, they're off to a rough start, not something they want. Very different team from the Flames. They're actually expected to, do a lot better than they have over the past couple of years now, maybe even more than that. But Kadri potentially could go to Vancouver. That is in response to Darren Dreger reporting that if Conroy and Kadri decide that Calgary isn't the right fit, you don't think maybe the Habs or Vancouver, go down the list of all the teams that are looking for that 2C, would be all over him. And that's the thing. Kadri could be such a valuable, obviously, 2C at, the trade deadline, or at least leading up to it. Now, to finish off this first little Spark Notes version, so Kadri has a long history of being in the trade spotlight and was dealt from the Leafs to the Avs back in 2019. That experience is helping him stay focused on his performance this time around. I don't think there's anything from a media PR standpoint that I haven't seen, Kadri said. That's what happens when you play in Toronto, honestly. Now, Kadri is closing in on his 1,000th NHL game. He's notched 717 points over 17 seasons and captured a Stanley Cup with Colorado in 2022. So those are kind of like the main quotes, I guess, but I wanted to share a couple more because I thought they were pretty good ones from the original article again. So Let's see more of what he had to say. He said, I've had to approach a lot more difficult situations than something like this. So for me, it's really nothing that draws my attention. Obviously, there's going to be some questions about it. I'm okay to answer them, but at the end of the day, I'm focused on winning hockey games. That was the main one. That one comes from the last one. But again, just emphasizing his mindset here that, he can hear all the noise, essentially, is what's going on here. But he's not letting it, obviously, invade his mind or the locker room or anything about it. He just wants to go out, play hockey, and win hockey games. Now, asked in a one-on-one chat how he'll answer questions about his future, he breaks into a mischievous grin. He said, I'm going to stay focused on winning hockey, smiled Kadri, eyes widening. You always know he's going to be how he is. He's just the absolute best. Another one here. So, however, as long as the Flames believe they still have a chance at a playoff spot, he's too valuable to trade. Interesting. Which means he's a cinch to remain with the club for his 1,000th NHL game at home against Columbus on November 5th. Incredible, man. It's honestly hard to believe, said Kadri of his milestone. It's a surreal moment. It's a moment of reflection that you kind of think about all the people that have helped you get to that point. It's certainly not an easy achievement, and to be able to do this with this team and these guys in this organization is special for me. Great quote there. So glad that he feels that way about the Calgary Flames, and both as an organization and as the actual team of players, of humans themselves. Last little bit here. But now with the Flames' plans in flux, Kadri finds himself back in the spotlight in the city that raised him and the media gauntlet that never quite let him breathe. Obviously talking about Toronto here. That's where the Flames currently are. So he said, that's something that I kind of just prepare for playing there, said Kadri of the anticipated attention that comes with his homecomings. I know really what to expect. I know a lot of the media guys there, so for me, it really doesn't change. It's always nice to go back home, see your family, and have them be in attendance to watch me play, which is great. That family will be in the building Tuesday, watching the man with 995 games under his belt, inch closer to a milestone. Even he reconsidered far-fetched at best. And we will get into a little preview of that game. But overall, I kind of want to ask you guys, what do you think? Do you think, the Flames should maybe trade Kadri sooner than later? Do you think he's just saying the right things, or this is actually how he feels? I kind of think it's a mixture of both, but either way, who doesn't love a bit of Naz? You just gotta love him. Now, we can head into tonight's game, which is actually kind of more of this afternoon's game if you're obviously on Calgary time, Mountain Standard Time here, because the Flames, their game against the Leafs has been moved up to 4 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, of course, over in TO, and this is obviously just due in part to Game 4 of the World Series being played, so move the Leafs game up earlier so people can watch the Jays game. It's kind of funny. I haven't really seen that much so solidified, but obviously, fans of both these teams will be cheering about the Jays. What a game last night that was. Too bad they didn't pull out the win. But either way, you can go watch Jays Digest if you want to hear more about that. But either way, Flames in Toronto playing against the Leafs. Interesting, lineup notes here is that the lines for tonight go as follows. Huberdeau, Kadri, Frost is the top line. That's how it was before. Honzek, Backlund, Coleman. Didn't change. Sharkey, Zary, Farabee, didn't change. And then the fourth line, Lomberg, Kirkland, and Coronato, who obviously missed last game against the Rangers as a healthy scratch. D pairings remain the same. Ball, Andersson, Bean, Weegar, Hanley, Perek. Wolf once again the starter. That's crazy. I think that's his 10th start in 11 games for the Flames this season. He's played the most out of any goalie in the NHL so far this year, unsurprisingly, but that is quite the workload. It's honestly like a Mika Gibrasov workload at this point, but Klapka and Pahal were skating as the fourth pairing, so kind of the extras. Ryan Pike points out that Coronato has been taking reps with the first power play unit, despite being on the fourth line here. So the first power play unit will be Huberdeau, Kadri, Frost, Perek, and Matty Coronato. Hopefully he can get it going. A little bit of a wake-up call with the healthy scratch. A little bit of a wake-up call as well, being on the fourth line. We'll obviously have to see how things shake out in Toronto tonight. Now let's get into the comment of the day to wrap up this video, as we love to do here on the channel. Comes from yesterday's video, of course, and this was a great comment here from Mr. Shiny Zekrom. They said Coronato hasn't looked good in a lot of games and found himself demoted to the fourth line some nights. He did deserve to sit out a game or two. Hopefully he takes that to heart and comes back with a vengeance. We certainly hope he does. Again, we'll see all of that tonight. Hopefully it really was a wake-up call. It's kind of reminiscent to last year when, he started the year with the Flames, got demoted to the AHL for whatever reason, came back and was superb, obviously, for the rest of the season and deserved the contract extension that he did sign. So hopefully he can get back on the right track against the Leafs tonight. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to what you saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.